And we are live on Facebook.
Dobar dan, Facebook. What I just said in Croatian was good day, you guys. This is our Croatian, we call this a GERD. We bought these for us for
from the good people at St.
Croatian Catholic Church in LA.
A little hard to talk through, but a little bit.
But this would make Mom and Pop really proud of us. So just so you guys know, this is our GERD, our emblem for Croatia. So
We're one family too, so for those of you who don't know, we can do this.
yeah, somehow I'm related to this kid right here next door to me, and soon to be Miss Kathy too. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for all the support through these troubling times. I'm hoping everybody out there are being safe and careful and
Lovingly distant.
and hopefully starting to enjoy life a little more than we have being in jail for 3 months like we have been. So, what else?
What else? Drink some wine.
Really?
I like to get straight to the point here.
Oh, well, we do have a few people that joined. We have Christoph.
Hello, Christoph.
How we doing?
It's my t-shirt.
And we also have Andrea Hobbs, who just joined. And we have Meredith on Instagram.
Miss Marin.
Miss Meredith.
And Lisa Listen Linda Honey just joined on Instagram.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us today. So, Junior wants to start drinking because that's really why he's here. Yeah, actually, that's exactly why.
I'll find the honesty is the
So we're going to start with the little bubbles. This kind of weather we've been having, we've had a heat wave here in California, as a lot of the western states. I'm not sure about the rest of the country, but it's really been toasty. This is our Blanc de Blanc, which is a Russian River Chardonnay. This one is cold and chilly and wonderful. And should we pour this thing?
I think we should.
All right. And also one of my favorites. And you people out there in virtual land, we have a 20% discount on the bubbles.
Oof, check that out, guys.
Look, there's never a bad day for bubbles. So pairs with a good day, bad day, mediocre day, proves all.
So today I'm going to depend on you for all the analysis.
All the analysis.
Yeah. Besides the crispy and the big nose, and what else are you going to throw at me?
It's really tropical.
It is?
Well, it's the nose is tropical.
It smells kind of peachy.
Yeah.
It's more peachy than tropical. So we don't grow peaches in Hawaii.
No.
Have you ever seen a peach tree in Hawaii?
It's got a peachy element to it, but
It's kind of like bordering between peachy and like pineapple.
peach, pineapple, nectarine, something else.
Oh. I miss this. I haven't drank one of these in a while. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Oh my goodness. Mr. Dan, I hope you're watching today. You just told me you opened one of these recently and liked the heck out of it. I do too, so.
It's a little easier drinking, more fruitful than the fruit.
This is one you can hang out with, guys. You can do little tidbits with it. You can do platters with it, little cheese. You can just sip on it and be happy. I mean, throw a big strawberry in your glass and be happy with that part too.
Some of our famous Watson little strawberries pair marvelously with this one.
You went down to Moss Landing, bought some fish yesterday, and all the strawberries were coming out of Watsonville. All the big trucks and were passing out Giant and all the different.
Did you buy some?
They were on the trucks.
Well, those, yeah, but usually they have like some stands out there.
I didn't have a stand.
No, they
I
don't.
was following. What do you want me to do? Pull the truck over, pull out my gun and my mask and my cowboy hat and say, "Give me all your strawberries."
You're halfway there. I mean, come on.
Huh?
Years ago.
Oh my God.
Oh, and Christoph, he says, good afternoon, guys. And he's doing good. He's staying cold inside.
Yes, sir. I bet it's pretty toasty where you are. It was yesterday, Christoph. I know. We were 86 for Santa Cruz yesterday afternoon. That's pretty much unheard of for this time of year for us. We're usually fogged in. So.
And
It came out of nowhere too. Usually there's like a gradual buildup or something, but it was just right.
Yeah.
also, your cousin Anthony says, hey, Marin and John, just thought I'd drop by for a minute and say hi.
Auntie, I wish you were drinking bubbles with us. You love these bubbles. Cinco Boy, you need to come up here.
Yeah. These bubbles, it's kind of like just drinking a cocktail, but
It is. Yeah.
it's, for
Well,
those,
A delicious Hawaiian style fruit cocktail.
Really?
What's the peach?
Okay.
well,
That's your analogy of this wine?
it's a lot more calorically friendly than a cocktail.
That's true.
So,
Oh yeah, you could drink a lot more of these cocktails than you could of a cocktail. So, and be happy doing it.
See, this is really a healthy.
When I'm allowed to pour wine, which feels like it's been 2 or 3 years since I've been able to do that, during the day, I get really thirsty and I would I'd be sipping on a little bit one of these all day long. You don't really get a buzz from it, but what it did, it would quench my thirst when I was pouring wine all day.
Makes you more gregarious. Gives you the gift of gab there, Sonny.
I thought I would burn with that.
Well, you know, amplifies it.
Sure, we go?
Right.
Okay.
well, Anthony, he says, I wish I was there too, and when all this stuff is over, I will. So.
I hear it. I want that in writing, Anthony.
But it is in writing. It's right there.
There we go. I'm not writing, Anthony.
I think the term is touche.
Love to the family.
That's funny.
So that, those of you that do know, and some of you that may not know, all of our bubbles are 20% off. All of our wines, our red wines, or our other wines are all 40% off by the case, 25% off on individual bottles, and if you do a case, we'll ship it free anywhere. So, and 40% is a pretty big number, kids, on some of these wines. So we're going to start. Can we move into reds? Really?
How about a little Zinfandel?
Would you like some Zinfandel? I love some. You guys, this is called the Old Gold. This is our 2016. This is a double gold medal winner. It's a South Monterey wine from Blackwood. The grapes that come from there is Tommy Nolan. And Tommy, I've been buying grapes from him since 2011. And I truly believe he's one of the better growers in California. You know, you always hear about old vines in from Napa, and you hear about zins from Livermore and Lodi and that region. And very few people know how good a grape comes out of the South Monterey area. This little sucker is amazing. When we first bottled the wine and we tasted it and named it, I named it Old Gold because I was very sure that this would be a gold medal winner right off the first time I tasted it. And in fact, this is our first one that of our Zins that won a double gold. So now, tell me about the wine. Remember, you're doing all the.
That's true.
Have you tasted it?
I have not, but I will tell you that I was very skeptical of this wine initially, or at least your choice to source grapes from Monterey. But as they say, seeing is believing. And I've been very pleasantly surprised.
You know, I think skepticism it goes hand in hand with millennialism. Oh yes. I mean, if you're a millennial, you have to be a skeptic because otherwise
You'd be an idiot not to be.
Oh yeah, you're a fool not to be
You're
skeptical
total-
as a millennial.
You're too gullible and trusting. Being skeptical, that's how you live in this cruel world.
We're trying to have people constantly one-up us, which wasn't a thing when you were growing up.
You grew up in a more wholesome time where everybody could trust each other. That's all done.
See, that's why I have this look. People don't mess with me because
You can't argue with that.
yeah. I mean, I understand the one look, you know, don't mess with me thing, but
Tell me about
yeah.
this life, Mr. Skepticism.
It sparks joy.
Well, it does have
So I
it
should
has
call
kind
it
of a,
Sparky.
This is, I haven't had this one in a long time, so this is different how I remember it, but quite good.
I mean, it still
You
has.
think it won 2 gold medals for just because it was an accidental tasting or something? Or?
Hey, who was responsible for those gold medals there, Sonny?
That was
Whose idea was it to enter those competitions? I seem to recall there was a certain son of Marin that put that idea forward, I don't know, for the last decade or so.
It was close to it, yeah. I did fight him on all the competition enterings. I wouldn't let him do it for about 8 years. And last year I finally I relinquished. And
Last year it became a good idea.
last year I went, okay. And then, I mean, 30 gold medals and other medals later, I went, that was actually a good idea. Actually, everything we entered won a medal, mostly gold, so, for a year.
But yeah,
This year, everybody's competitions have been delayed or postponed or absolutely canceled because of the COVID, so it's going to be a tough year.
It's good. It's dark fruit, kind of blue eye.
Yeah, well, I would definitely say plum with like spices on the
It's got a nice
nose.
format. It does.
Yeah. There's a nice amount of acid to it. Like you could have this with a really nice fatty cut of like lamb or.
I'd like to do a barbecue lamb chop with a little new potato and maybe you don't like asparagus or asparagus and.
I love asparagus. It's hard to pair with wines. Like
Now with this,
it would be pretty good
no,
with this
it
one.
would be fun.
I like Christoph's suggestion of white asparagus. I will forever remember that for wine pairings.
Christoph, what would you pair with this one? Monsieur.
Something fatty. Something fatty, delicious.
You know, it's a good rib line.
Yeah.
It would make a good rib line too. There's not too much that you can't pair with this wine, guys. From steaks and chops and chicken and turkey and whatever. It's an all-weather wine. It really is.
Way to make me want meat in the middle of a meat shortage. Shame on you.
You see what the government's investigating them for price gouging?
There's just no way for your dad to win today. This is.
You know, this is like the cruz Fran and Ollie show here. You know, it's supposed to be about wine tasting, but a lot of stuff gets in the way.
Oh my goodness.
And you guys are too young for Cruz Fran and Ollie.
My grandma's told me about them.
My great grandmother told me about that. Oh, that's really good.
My grandma.
How do you spell over the dirt? That's a good name for a wine. Over the dirt.
Oh, Miss Angie joined.
Aloha.
Welcome, Angie. What do we got on Instagram?
Angie joined also on Instagram.
Hi. Angie, you're a there, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy.
Oh, also Kathy from Florida just joined.
Aloha,
Hi,
Kathy.
Kathy from Florida. We miss you.
You'd love this wine, Kath.
You would.
Yeah. Take it from Junior. Junior.
It's really.
Well,
It's smoothed out a lot more than I
Oh,
thought.
baloney, it's been smooth from the 2 weeks after we bought
I'm
them.
not saying it hasn't. I'm saying it's even smoother.
Why do you think I gave it an old gold connotation?
How dare you say that this wine has gotten better than it was? How dare you, Jacob?
Yeah, I think this one aged really, really well.
Let's talk about age and longevity, you guys. Bear, we're going to do another one here pretty soon. Oh, you want to be tasting it while I'm going through this? I got it. Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk about aging of our wines. Our wines, let's take the typical Zinfandel, generally 2.5 to 3 years. The Cabs, 3, 4, 5, and 6 years. The Malbecs and Merlots, 3 years. French oak, good percentage of new. 3 years wine longevity. It gives you a Zin like this. That's an easy 15-year wine, maybe even 20. It really is. And it's only going to get better with age, like you said. It does. The Sauv Blancs, because we make the Sauv Blancs in stainless steel and then finish it in the French concrete egg, it has a longevity factor somewhere between 8 and 10 years. I drank some 10 and 12-year-old ones, and they're still good. So, in other words, when you buy an MJA wine, and if you don't plan, especially in the reds, if you don't plan on using it right away, don't be afraid to lay it down, because it will wait for you. What are you laughing at?
Mr. Carey, he commented, LOL, I wonder how much they fight when they've had too much to drink.
I don't know. I'm hoping they're drinking while we're doing this, so they buy a lot, Mr. Carey. Aloha, welcome. We just did a segment on the Blanc de Blanc that we talked about yesterday. So. All right. This is the Zinfandel 2016 from South Monterey, Old Gold.
I think that used to be the name of a classy silver back in the day.
No.
What?
It's your old gold. 9 out of 10 doctors for your old gold.
What? That was like Lucky Stripe or something.
Switch the camels, never went back to women. Did I say that? All right, so what we're doing today, we're doing 3 cabs at the end, one of which has been around for a while, Indiscretion, which is our AV cab, Alexander Valley. Then we're doing a Pfeffer cab, which is a brand new cab that very few people know about, which will tell you about the history of this wine. It's kind of fun. And a Mendocino, high elevation Mendocino cab called Pour le plaisir. Thank you to Mr. Christophe, which means for your pleasure. We decided to give a little continental on one of our wines this time, so that's what this one's about. But anyway, let's go to Indiscretion. Indiscretion is a 2015. This is our first Alexander Valley that we had made. We make them every year since 15. So we will have verticals of this wine. AB tends to be so fruit forward. And this is what that bottle looks like. Indiscretion. You can buy this at 40% off on a case. Indiscretion is incredibly good. All right.
What are you tasting this one?
I know. I told you this
You're in charge, John.
I have not tasted it.
I have not tasted it yet.
Okay, then it's a standard.
Well, look.
It's a Croatian standard.
I asked you first.
No, actually, technically, your dad asked you first because he said at the beginning of the tasting, John, you're in charge of giving all the notes.
Thank you. She's got it right. She's got it right. What do you got? It's like 5 minutes of sound prayer. Okay, even though we can't go to our church.
Well, see, that's interesting because it starts off like really smooth, but it has kind of like a burst of flavor right at the end. Where usually, it's kind of the opposite. It hits the tongue first and then it tickers up. Yeah, this almost seems to be, the
Why don't you
opposite.
take another sip because you just had a Zinfandel. And incidentally, guys, when you're switching wines, you're tasting wines, and this is a good thing to know. When you're tasting wines and you're going from one red to another, you need 3 sips of that new wine before you're actually tasting the new wine.
Does he give me the opportunity to do 3 sips before asking questions?
So, I'm going to drink my wine.
So, to give you a little, some feedback on this wine, The nose is very dusty, but like kind of like an old cigar kind of dusty. Like it's a really pleasant smell. And then once you taste it, there's a lot of cranberry. There's like this undertone of plum.
This sucker just is a mouth burst. I mean, it hits you with all the different fruit flavors in your mouth. It expands, and it never stops way down here. It finishes down here someplace. It's what you want in a wine. The trouble with most Cabernets in Napa today, they give you a big front, a very small middle, and no finish. And I'm sorry, that's the bulk of them that I taste that come out of Napa today. This sucker is balanced. It gives you front, middle, finish, and the finish keeps on going. And it's a really good going. It goes down here, you get all sorts of red fruit flavors all the way down, from cherry and berries and plum and everything.
It is. And there's like kind of like on the lingering finish, there's like this chocolate flavor that kind of comes out. Like that's.
What causes the chocolatey flavor?
Barrel, chocolate, tobacco, a lot of different wine flavors that come into your wines that come out of your barrels. But chocolate's one I like for sure. In certain other barrels, you get vanilla and you get other things like that. So yeah, just blame it on barrel. And Robbie is such a barrel connoisseur on that stuff. He knows, how to put flavors into it.
So we got some really sweet comments. So Angie said, in reference to how you taste wines and like you switch between wines, she said, you taught me that when we had my tasting.
Yes. Well, so many people don't know that. You'll taste a wine, especially if you're going from a white to a red, that's really a big change in your palate. You've got to wash all that white off your tongue before the red starts to take over. So it's called the rule of three. And it really works. And every red wine, just because you're drinking a red to a red doesn't mean you don't have a whole flavor profile stuck on your tongue from the red you had before. So the first sip, it's fighting that, and usually the first sip isn't very good. The second sip, the new wine is taking over, and the third sip, it has taken over, and you're truly tasting the wine that you're tasting.
And so the next comment is Kelly. She's saying, hey everyone, this is the highlight of our week, always makes us laugh.
Kelly, God bless you, we miss you, and John, and I hope to see you soon, very soon.
We really do miss you guys.
You guys, this is heartfelt for us. Every so often somebody, he doesn't let me in here very often, but when I come in and one of our own members comes in and I get to see him, I get all choked up because it's like you haven't seen your family for months and months. And whereas I get to see him once a week or every 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, now I don't, so it's hard.
Yep. And also Sue, she says, hi, love the masks.
Oh, thank you. Thank him.
Hey, thank the good people of St. Anthony.
St. Anthony's Croatian Catholic Church. Hvala lijepo. That's fair. What would you pair this with, Mr.
What would I pair this
I'm going to throw one
with? A
in.
little New York City.
No. Oh, that's 40, but yeah.
There you go.
I go to one of Ted Turner's restaurants, either in Atlanta or in Denver, and I would have a buffalo ribeye, or I would have a buffalo rib with this.
What about a little salad?
I can do a
A little brisket would be really good too. But I like the buffalo idea though.
Yeah.
It has like, I think that would be just the perfect pairing because it's like that nice kind of.
Well, you know how you get the big beef ribs, solid beef ribs? Ted Turner does the buffalo beef ribs.
Oh my God.
And those suckers aren't small, I mean, 2 of those are feed a family of 4, and everybody's happy and greasy, but actually it's not as greasy as the beef. So
Yeah.
It's about half the fat or less than the beef has. But this wine, Dan, you got that in you ought to pop one when you get a chance if you're still on, because that is a great wine that you should try. Indiscretion. It's one of our better Alexander Valleys that we put out. So.
And they just keep getting better every year, honestly. Like, I think probably the sweet spot for our cabs, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they kind of start coming out into like their really good their full profile about 5 years out from when they were harvested.
That's starting to tell you what they're going to be over the next 10 or 12 years. This is giving you, so this one is a 15, so it's 5 years old. It's saying probably on this wine, I would say somewhere around 2025, she's going to be really damn good. Oh my goodness. You know? Again, you guys, don't be afraid to lay these down. The problem is, if you want to drink them, buy enough of them, like a case, 40% off, so you can leave them down.
All right, so you can't let
it's
that
okay.
and not tell
People
us
leave these comments and they're really funny. So Kelly, she says, stop asking John what to pair the wines with. He has no idea. Stick with asking Kathy.
Kelly, you're right. I thought he was going to say something like an old belt or something. You know, I had no idea.
Yeah, spoil your shoes. That's what we're there.
There you go. All right. I would use this with the skirt steak. You know, like they do marinated skirt steak would be good with this too.
Meredith has a really good suggestion. Medium rare tomahawk, which is basically like a beef rib with a ribeye.
Yeah,
So,
no, that would work.
yeah.
There's very little that you can't pair with this wine because it's ever encompassing.
You can pair it with Hungary goulash if you want to.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't make it. As long as I made it or she made it. But if you made it, I'd go fishing with it. I'd use it for bait. And it'd probably catch everything in the ocean.
Look,
Hey, you give me the wine, I don't care.
I'm just gonna tell John, like, if he was making it, I'd be like, all right, put the bay leaf in there, and you're good.
Is that like? Is it really?
It's one of those millennial
Is it like
memes.
a fresh nut?
It's a seasoning.
Even better.
Bay leaf is like a very.
I know what a bay leaf is.
I know.
I have growing up there bays, or I've got bay trees all over the summit. Those are bay leaves.
Yeah. So I know, which is kind of why I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, we use some bay leaf. My mom did, but not. I mean, it is. You didn't put it in your Cheerios. No, but you would put it in your Cheerios because you wouldn't know how to make the Cheerios good. You know. Yeah, I'm serious. Here, get rid of that. All right, let's talk about new wines. Croatian, Nove Vina. Nove Vina, which is the new wines. Can we have a little bucket thing here? This is a Pfeffer cab, spelled P-F-F-E-F-F-E-R. Pfeffer. This one comes from Hollister. It is is it a 15? No, it's a 16. First one we ever made. I've been hearing about this grape for a while. It's very rare. There's only a couple of little vineyards in California that actually grow this grape. This one's a little 4-acre patch in Hollister. There's a couple of them. I think there's 2 more in San Benito, and I don't know if there's any others around. This is a grape hybrid. Developed by William Pfeffer in the late 1800s. He lived in Los Altos. He crossed it with what everybody believes to be a red trousseau. And Pfeffer in German means peppery. You tasted it, I haven't. Is it peppery?
I just tried it right now.
Okay.
So on the nose.
We have not tasted it since we bottled it. This is a new one for us.
Yeah, it's a little pepper.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be great on the black pepper. It's supposed to be a terrific sausage wine, which I can see.
Yeah. It's not overwhelmingly peppery.
It's not a big, robust cab. It's light. And when we made it, the grapes were really light, not the big old dark red Cabernet grape that we're so used to seeing from our Napa cabs and Alexander Valley and whatever and what have you. So
I mean, it's good to drink on its own, but it's a nice pairing wine because it's not so bold that it will overwhelm whatever it is you're eating with it.
Yeah.
you didn't take 3 sips, so how can you give me all that?
That's true. I took 2.
Excuse me while I do 3 sips.
Yeah. So, fun fact I learned from Meredith, our resident sommelier. She let me know that, like, basically pepper and cinnamon are very close, like, in terms of profiles that you smell. So, I'm personally smelling a lot of cinnamon, but I think that does lend credence to it being a kind of peppery cab.
Can you try it and you taste it?
Yeah, like I do think, like, on the palate it tastes kind of peppery.
I get more cinnamon on the nose, but on the palate,
Yeah.
it's just
No, I get more cinnamon on the palate than I do on the nose.
See, they kind of flip flop. Like,
I mean,
that's a pretty
yeah,
common thing.
It's kind of a cinnamony pepper.
Yeah, no, for me, it's all the nose. Peppers, all.
You know, making this wine, watching the crush, looking at the color of the juice, I wasn't sure what we had with this wine. But you know what? That is awful good. That is, I'm very, very pleased with this wine. Oh my goodness. I didn't put it in a serene label because it's a non-napa cab.
And so it's divine.
So, you know, I don't know how to excuse it. You know, I just, you know, I'm hoping people out there are more forgiving than, you know, than not.
The Japanese have a phrase for situations like this.
They do?
They say, "Shikata danai," which means it can't be helped.
But it can.
Okay, I'm going to call this wine Shikata Ganai. Can I name this wine Shikata Ganai?
You have to write it in,
Well, you can do that. You're the one. You're the only one that's allowed to sign this one. Oh, yes.
What did I do?
You know, this wine has more smoothness and richness than I expected. Honestly, I thought I would get a little blender wine with more pepper, really heavy on the pepper. It's not. It's smooth and it's rich. There's a lot of richness to this one.
There is. There's some other spices going on too. I'm trying to figure out what they are. It's like all spices.
It's probably,
Yeah.
you got the parsnips in there anyway?
Definitely. Overwhelming parsnips.
Those of you that know, we've got a little ongoing parsnips thing going for a
This is a
while.
running joke.
Yes. What would we pair this with?
Other than parsnips.
And sausage.
More sausage.
Really?
Like, honestly, I think this would lend itself really well to some kind of meat with some kind of fruit compote on top, just because it's so fruity and so peppery, and it has like that nice acid to cut through something maybe a little fattier.
What about pork chops and apples?
Not applesauce.
The applesauce.
Yeah.
That's too sweet.
A lamb cutlet done with onions, and maybe you could throw, I would do some, what would I do with that? You could go, Christoph, I need your culinary delight.
Like something like
No, this is not a crock pot wine. No. I would do a cutlet with that, maybe with some apricot in there, or maybe something like, I'm trying to infuse the fruit into that I would like.
Oof.
I would do a little apricot with that lamb with this, yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs some kind of, I think you're right, it does need some kind of fruit to like balance it out, but just purely savory flavor would be a little too much.
It would it would overwhelm this.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't taste the pepperiness of the wine, like without having it balanced in the meat.
I can't wait for you to come in, Chris, so you can taste this wine. You're going to be really liking this wine. It's really unusual.
Yeah.
So it's one of the most unusual cabs that we've made.
Yeah. Oh, we got a couple of comments here.
All right, what do we got?
So Mr. Carey says, Stacy says Dobro Dan.
Dobro Dan, Kako Stimming.
And Kathy says, just took you all with me to the beach on my bike. Was hoping to share the launch with you. Oh, well, maybe next time. Yeah, there's a launch going on, which Angie's also watching.
I've seen a
So-
couple of launches down there. It's really cool.
You are,
People see the street.
you are a launch. Yeah, you are.
Oh, okay. So Meredith suggests German Sauerbraten. Possibly. Like maybe.
You got
If
too
you
much sour going on with that, sweetie. Sauerbraten has got too much sour. This wine isn't going to lend to the sour. It really isn't. A nice sausage, you know, with onions and garlic and stuff like that would lend to this. But you don't want the sauerkraut or anything of that nature because it would really detract from this wine.
Though I do like the direction of that comment because it's like if you had a sausage that had dried cranberries or dried cherries in it.
Or, you know, Corleo's Meat Market makes one with apricot in it. We bought it the other day. It's a Corleo sausage with apricot. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it was good. I mean, really, perfect wine for that.
Yeah.
And you got the sweeter sausage with various kinds of fusions.
Well, they make a Bavarian sausage that would work with it. There's a few sausages that will work with
But any of the sausages that had some of that fruity sweetness would really.
Mr. Dan, if you're still on, this is the wine we just sent to you. We wanted one of the new ones. This is our new label, kids. This is the MJA label, which we are going to drop the Serene label from now on. It will be all MJA for all the reserve cabs. This one is a Mendocino, very high elevation. It's a 2017, I believe. Good guess. Cabernet.
And just to point out here, the MJ label is the result of about 10 years worth of wine come to fruition.
Well, you know, people who come into the tasting room, we have the DaVine label.
I this line relate to Serene, relate to MJA. It's also confusing. I don't know if someone could have predicted this.
I can tell you live in Santa Fe. Anyway, yes. So, to rectify that, our first MJA label, let me have her right here. Bubbles. The first MJA label was our girl on the bubbles, and everybody kind of fell in love with her and the MJA label. And so I started noodling on that. So let me have the So we came up with this about 3 months ago and designed it. The difference in the different cabs that are of the same year will be different color changes as we did with the Serene label. This one, we're going to take this label and shorten it to about here and then put the MJA on the top. So the DaVine label will remain, but it will have the MJA logo on the top. And that will be this year for all the new bottlings coming out in November. This wine, Robbie talked me into this back in 2017. He went up to this vineyard up in Mendo, up in high elevation up in Mendocino, and he said, there's some grapes that come out of there, and I know Mendocino's not known for Cabernet. They do a lot of pinots and things like that up there. He said, but this is one we should have. He said, it is an incredibly good Cabernet, and it's, for cab grapes out of a different area, they're pricey, but I'm glad I bought it. So I did 3 years in a row so far. We have three vintages. This one is called, thanks to Christophe, Pour le plaisir, which means for your pleasure. So that means we're showing a little class in our wines for change.
Did that ever happen?
It did for a second, but I ended it. Yep.
Okay, we had a phone message come in
On my phone, I'm popular. Cheers.
So this is the new For Your Pleasure Cabernet 2017, and this one is from Mendocino. High elevation. The first thing that strikes me on this wine, I expected a much lighter body from Mendocino, but it's got nice structure and a pretty full body of wine. The second thing that strikes me on this wine is it's got a nice, pleasant dryness to it at the end. It's not, it doesn't just go nuts on you like you would think some of them would.
But it's not a pushover.
Oh, no. And it's brand new. So what does that mean? That means this has been bottled a couple of weeks. This is going to get more better and more better and more better, as we say in the big eye. What do you think, Kathy? I need some input.
It's spicy. It's really spicy.
It is very spicy, and it does have that dry finish. Yeah. I mean, I would be very curious for what the profile, because I think it'll transform a little bit more.
It's gonna transform a lot.
Yeah, especially like by the time we were.
We just bottled
Yeah.
this one.
You know, this is a cab that starts out at $80 and at 40% off, I pay you to take the thing home. And this one is again another 25, 30 year lay down the line. Just take your time with it, open one when you want, and it is going to just be better and better and better. In my opinion, it needs 3 months to start to tell you what it's going to do. It's a little bit young. It is.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a wonderful wine to open right now. But I think, so this will probably be a part of the October wine club, right?
Very possible to be in October, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I think by that point it would be
By October,
perfect.
it's ready to
Yeah.
It's going to tell you what it's thinking. And
Yeah.
by 2 years from October, it's going to tell you a little more what it's thinking. And 6 or 7 years from October, it's going to say, huh, aren't you glad you bought me? Yeah, exactly.
It is a good wine now, but it's you know, given how young it is, it's difficult to predict like where it's going to go. I think it'll be good, but
Yeah. I mean, like, I would open this bottle right now and
You can
drink
drink
it
it
and
tomorrow.
be very happy. I would, but I think, like, it just has so much potential and possibility. I'm just like, I want to see where it goes.
We made a lot of this. We're slowly running out of Amnesia, which was our 2015 Napa Cab, and it's been one of the most popular wines that we had, and we're running out of it. And I knew I wanted another wine to take its place, and this is it. So 40 off of 80, 320, so that's like $50. So 40 some bucks, 40 bucks. Yeah. Yeah.
well, Kathy's laughing at something.
So Kelly just made a comment that I very much relate to with the name that we have for this Mendo. She said, "Oh boy, my John is never going to be able to pronounce that name, let alone remember. He can barely pronounce Montepuliciano."
Gee. Who could have predicted this?
He didn't want me to use the name, Chris. I love the name.
I love the
I love the intent.
intention.
Look at me, but I love
Mon cher, they have to be able to pronounce it.
it. Doesn't matter. We put in parentheses for your pleasure for the gringos. Come on, leave me
I'll
alone.
just call it for your pleasure.
We could.
I'm gonna just state it again. Bon vivant. It is a name that refers to luxury and pleasure and enjoyment that is very pronounceable by English speakers.
Or
So-
at least like Zinfandel. It has to be pronounceable, whatever you
Are you
choose.
switching genders? Are you the femme fatale now? Okay, dear. That's fine.
Oh, Christoph said I can find a simpler one. Smiley face.
You said what?
He said I can find a simpler one.
Okay.
Look,
Okay.
the English speakers have to be able to understand, pronounce, and talk like this.
Though Kelly does say, however, I like the name.
Thank you, Kel.
It is a good name. It's just, you know.
Tell John, buy a case, 40% off, and I will write for you the coin for
John, come over here for a second. How do you say that?
Jolie de vivre. I don't know. I never took French.
I didn't take French either.
Amador de plaisir. I like it. Chris, I like it.
We need to have like a Chris FaceTime, like in the back.
But
We
just
will do that. All right.
So we can consult with
So anyway,
our resident.
let's talk about things. All right. Again, those of you that came in later, 40% off on cases, free shipping, 25% off on individual bottles. All of the support and help you give us keep these doors open. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
We really appreciate it. Our bubbles are 20% off. We're not sure when the Gov and the health department are going to release us here. We're still tied up in knots here in Santa Cruz. We've only had 2 deaths and about 160 cases of the COVID. And 2 deaths is just too many, but by all the standards across the country, this is a pretty safe place to be. You got to be very thankful to all the Santa Cruz people for really paying attention and taking care of each other, and we're thankful for all that. Thank you for supporting all of our little businesses, and we do also.
I do have a quick note.
Okay, come on in.
All right. So very exciting news. We just found out this week that we are able to do to-go tastings, and because of that, we will be starting to offer those in 3 different flights on Saturday of this week, and it will be 4 different wines for each tasting. And for wine club members, it will be $5 a tasting, and for non-wine club members, it will either be $15 for the standard tastings or $20 for the reserve tastings. And it's going to be 100 milliliters per pour per TTV guidelines. So all of those will be ready to go on Saturday, and we would love to invite you to be a part of that and to come by and, you know, get back into the MJA experience the way that we can offer it. So.
That's the only thing we could figure out on how to let you guys wine taste with us without spending a fortune and us eating a fortune, because right now in these times it's a little more difficult for us from that aspect. So you guys please stay safe. Again, thank you for all the support. We love you all. We totally miss you all, and hopefully in the next few weeks or at the worst a month, we can start things somewhat like normal. God bless, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Mahalo, Mahalo, guys.